of the Russian Federation, Oleg Kachanov, he will join us shortly, Director for Department for Digital Transformation of Big Data of the Ministry of Enlightenment of the Russian Federation, Andrei Gorobets, and Council for Information Technologies, the movement of the first, Maxim Borzov. We're ready to start. So this decade in our country is dedicated to digital transformation of the country, and until 2030, under the instruction of the president, have to become digitally mature in key industries of economy and social sphere. And it's up to the regions and to fulfill this task, and how actively this is going, what are the challenges and what helps implement new technologies, and how educational sphere views on that, the teachers, the students. This is what we're going to be talking about today. Since our focus today is on education, I invite to open our discussion the Director for Digital Transformation of Big Data of the Ministry of Enlightenment of the Russian Federation. And let me, is Andrei Gorobets with us? Is he connected? Andrei Valerievich, hello. You're online with Yugra. Welcome.
Андрей Валерьевич, давайте поговорим о том,
let's talk about how digital transformation is going. What is the outlook and what are the terms? Colleagues, good day. I would like to welcome you once again at this session, and allow me to start with a bit of history, because without history there is no future. And well, we started digital development many times, and now we're continuing it, digital transformation education. And it's important to note that there's every prerequisite for that, because before we were saying that digitization is needed. Well, if you remember it, this popular feature film, once era TV comes, it will replace everything. If you remember, theaters will be replaced by TV, etc. But that didn't happen. We continue going to theaters. We are into different events and sports, and the same is going on in education. And what's important to note here is that what is going on the global scale. A lot of professions are connected with digitization in this way or another. And children who will be adults soon, they need to know how to use those means and capabilities given by modern technologies. And sometimes technologies are ahead of us. They can calculate faster, they can see certain things better, but they will never replace the value of human interaction and the value of human intellect. And it's important to know that digitization education should follow the principle that the digit is not a replacement. It is a tool that helps in an easy way and a quick way tell about, in an understandable way, explain sophisticated processes like in physics and mathematics or in other environments, and show the kids how it works so they would find their identity and choose the profession. It's important to know that the Ministry of Education and Enlightenment follows the path of developing integrated projects in digitalization education. First of all, this is ensuring hardware availability, which make it possible for us to implement those digital technologies. Second is development of software, because no matter how well equipped we are with computers and equipment, but software, especially import replacement, is absolutely vital. And that's why we have our school, and the colleague from Spherum will talk more about it. It's important to know that this is a tool which allows a teacher and a student learn more about vital knowledge and expand the worldview. And when working with digital technologies, and we all see that there is a dissonance, that in the digital media there is unlawful content, and the ministry works on protecting children and adults and teachers from this unlawful content. So that's why the ministry verifies the digital and educational content that goes to schools. At the level of hardware, I mean, schools are connected to the system of protected data transfer system, and we can block foreign content which is not supposed to get into schools. Second point, we actively promote good, high-quality educational content in the domain of educational digital resources, something that can convey information in an easy and understandable way. So we have hardware, software, and third component as verification of content. What else would I like to say, colleagues? These tools will become more and more part of our life, part of our education, and we need to be ready for that. So we work with teachers who use technical means. Some do it in the proper way, some train, but this is important. What's important is that the experience accumulates, the experience of using those means, which help us make proper conclusions, which help us say whether a tool is used properly or not. But now we have experience to choose from, and what's more important that teachers are actively involved in developing the hardwares that are useful for them. Another point is that hardware helps us, or equipment help us bridge the distance gap, and certain subjects, additionally education, can be addressed to a wider audience. For example, Spherum helps us with that. Or we can have targeted learning sessions with students, certain tasks, or checking certain additional elements or additional materials. And it is important to note that right now our work is aimed at standardizing those approach so that in every constituent entity of the Russian Federation there is a uniform principle of work with the data, with the content. When a child, a student, or a parent, or a teacher moves from one city to another, they could get the same level of work with digital technologies. It is also important to note that digital technologies are not there to replace teachers or students. They are a tool that is there to help and train for future life and to be prepared to work with digital technologies and use the computer as a means of gaining knowledge and expanding the worldview. And most importantly, that it is beneficial for the students, teachers, and the state. Andrei Valerьевич, thank you for joining us and setting the tone for our discussion. And now it's high time. Well, we talked about main parameters and vectors of development, and we're going to talk about how it's all being implemented and standardized, how experience is being developed and what's being done here. And I'll give floor to the hospitable host and whom I thank for high level of organization and hospitality. So, Governor of the Khanty-Mansiysk Autonomous Okrug, Deputy Governor. I'm Deputy Governor. Елена Шумакова. Елена Vitalyevna, it's been for 3 years that Yugra has been a leader in the level of digital transformation. Yesterday, at the opening of the forum, we saw new modules in the system that's shown its efficiency. Educational system gives education of Yugra. So what parameters could you mention as efficient ones, and what areas of development could you identify? Good day, dear colleagues, dear guests, and the participants of the International IT Forum. First of all, I would like to go back to history, since this is the anniversary 15th IT Forum with BRICS and SCO participation. And 10 years ago, several important fundamental milestones were adopted in 2014 when our okrug was in Paris at UNESCO playground in the UNESCO headquarters. We presented our humanitarian potential, liberal arts potential for increase of international cooperation, that's art and educational capabilities, and what our universities can offer and colleges, our heritage, language and culture. And at UNESCO, we raise an important topic, the topic that rapid development of technologies, digital technologies, and innovation development should not be in conflict with what is fundamental in our cooperation. And by this, I mean our cultural heritage, our language heritage, and the priority to preserve multicultural cultural domain in the digital and in cyberspace, and important aspects of protection and international protection of data. And back then, at the UNESCO playground in the program Information Communication with Everyone, there was an important sub-program aimed at preservation of the vernacular tongues of the peoples of the North. And since 2015, our forum, our international IT forum with the participation of BRICS and SCO countries has become a place where experts meet to discuss these important points. Another important task that we are after, we on purpose localized this playground within IT forum, because by developing these technologies, it's important for us to assess the humanitarian consequences of upscaling and implementing them. And yesterday at UNESCO conference, we talked a lot about how can artificial intelligence today influence the educational space, the cultural space, and how powerful the field of war is, which now unveils the upscaling and the growth of use of artificial intelligence. And for us, it is important to achieve balance, and I'm very grateful to our international participants who come to here supporting us, so that at the international level, these questions stay relevant. And because we understand there is a risk of leak of personal data, or loss of copyright, or risk that the minds of our children will be influenced, and because children are using these technologies more and more often. What's important for us is that from the start, by implementing our digital education platform, we set the priority on basing this platform on safe resources, protected resources, and that it is based on our Russian designs. And it bears fruit. During the past 4 years, we've been leaders in our country. Our educational platform, as of today, is the best solution, the most mature solution, and we're grateful to our colleagues and partners from 20 regions of the Russian Federation who are working here today at the forum and who are interested to make sure that those decisions which have been successfully tested here in the region are implemented, and they upscale our educational digital platform. We see there is a growing interest to our solutions from guests and from other countries, because these are the capabilities which can help counter another challenge, international challenge, which is digital inequality. The inequality in access to digital services, in education, and other services. And for our region, it was also an important challenge, and we responded to it by developing these digital solutions. It is clear that the territory of Ukraine is more than 500,000 square kilometers, a lot of far-off areas and towns. These are campsites where indigenous people live, and our IT campsite and project like this help ensure efficient access to high-quality education without the need to leave your family or travel from where you live. Talking about those results that we have, there's no doubt it is the availability of high-quality education. We see a considerable reduction in the use of adjacent system or outside the educational system. We see a reduction of cost, which is about 70%. An important effect which we achieve is the reduction in paper weight and paper load on the need to work with documents for teachers, and this requires continuous adjustment. And for us, it is important that the digital educational platform help create those reports without distracting the teachers from their core activity working with children. It is with the help of the platform that we monitor to what extent the bodies of authority they do not abuse the right to give those reports. And it is important for us that the services which are being used by parents and children, they are in demand, and they, as of today, more than 1 million users of the platform, and more than 46,000 teachers and children. There's a huge load, a mass of data which help us use AI as a tool to assist us in making analytical decisions, in monitoring and fine-tuning our regional situational center to control the industry. What we want, we plan to use the capabilities of artificial intelligence to analyze data and on use of material and technical resources to bring together the quality of those material resources and the level of education which students in particular education establishment demonstrate. We plan to use these solutions to monitor psycho-emotional state, emotional burnout of both teachers and children, with the emphasis on children with particular development needs, and creating the individual intellectual routes of development. And for us, it is critical at this stage to improve the quality of education through the use of modern capabilities. And it is very important for us that every year we expand the opportunities to get feedback from children and parents to organize the work of our digital platform and those services which are available with the help of the platform. And that's monitoring of the quality of nutrition, and that's how the space within schools is organized. And these capabilities are in demand, and they're important for us in making managerial decisions. But what I would like to emphasize here, what is key, all these capabilities, they do not exclude the core priority involvement of human expert specialists in making certain decisions. And by all means, they're there to make sure that the work of teachers is least loaded with bureaucracy and red tape, so that teachers and pedagogues can spend as much time as possible with their children. And this is definitely our priority in education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia. Elena Shumakova, Deputy Governor of the Khanty-Mansiysk Autonomous Okrug Yugra. Thank you very much for such a detailed story and what's happening with your pedagogues. If you talk about international experience, now it is his plenipotentiary and extraordinary ambassador of Republic of Angola. Could you tell us what's happening with education there? Augusto da Silva Cunha. Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. Let us talk on the subject and on the experience of Angola in digital transformation and in transformation in education. From 2002, we are observing a considerable growth of the number of users of the information technologies, communication in particular, that involves access to the internet. And in this sense, on behalf of the government of Angola, there is a growth of volume of investment in telecommunication sector. As a result, the development, the emergence of a higher number of operators, providers, services in the ICT. And it is well known that citizens, they do need to use ICT more in their everyday lives, and now it is a stage where the transition is happening to the artificial intelligence. The penetration of technology to schools, including schools, that is We could say that the education now literally is suffocating with all the technologies that know all, and the African technologies, African continent now still has problems with the development. Uh, what we are seeing now, that is, the technologies are penetrating, they spread all over in different spheres, in different areas of economy and life, and the future. The networks and platforms come and they make it possible to have remote access, and there is a transition to digital technologies. Even among those people who have been excluded from the process, and now from this point of view, the majority of the governments is doing a lot to provide to their citizens digital technologies, and school is becoming a priority area for in order to spread these new technologies amongst the young people, making it possible to achieve a positive effect and to protect them from negative effects from the development of this technology. And there are professional requirements to digital technologies in various industries. In the inclusion of digital technologies in the everyday life in Angola, that signifies one more moment of the transition of the system of education. In the inclusion of the basic system of education, for instance, in what involves in the system of management of administrative processes and the penetration of technologies in life of contemporary society. The government of Angola helps this process, implementing the national plan called Information Society, and the plan for 2013-2017 is the development of the previous plan that is viewing the key strategic moments of the development of the information society in the following directions. In this respect, what was stressed here, the sub-plans, for instance, the plan of national plan of digital inclusion, the network of mediatheks, the network Digital Angola and TV centers, telecenters, and based on that foundation, the projects emerging are being implemented in the sphere of education, in the education beyond university, outside of universities. And this kind of education may impact on school projects. Meu Campo Pro Futura and eNet projects could be considered those. The basics of information, introduction to information, and the introduction of those subjects in different layers of education has become a typical practice and is used everywhere. And I would like to tell you in more detail about these three projects. Since I don't have enough time, I can't give you much detail on these projects, but If we talk about digital transformation in the system of higher education, we are basing this the citizens of the 21st century, the technologically active, the digital inclusion is always viewed in the context of digital context in which our projects have been implemented and developed. Yesterday, during my talk, I mentioned the forum that we held in Luanda, and we hold in Luanda every year. And just recently it finished. This is AngoTIC. It is called, that means Angola Information Communication Technologies. More than 120 companies and representatives from foreign countries participated from our political and the South Africa in particular. We were talking about when COVID-19 pandemic had come, the development of digital education has sped up. The digital technologies emerged that managed to emerge to help combating COVID on a global scale, and we were discussing this. We were discussing how it helped the digital transformation in Angola. The conceptual basis, the foundation of its implementation in higher education and higher education establishments, they have to play the foundation, the basic role in preservation and accumulation of existing knowledge in digital transformation, applicable to all processes. And that includes training new specialists adapted to digital era in all the spheres of knowledge, and that should not be limited by only the use of technologies which are used directly in the learning process. Our government is planning to come up with a program of preparation of teachers, tutors, development of competencies, making it possible to implement technologies and platforms of the digital world. And also what we're planning to do is to establish digital platforms for the constant training and retraining of the tutors and teachers, virtual universities, the virtual university in Angola, implementing the plan for the development of Angola up to 2050. And this plan is in agreement with the public opinion, and it includes the intensification of digital education and the promotion of being educated in this sphere. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Интересно, конечно, подробнее узнать и про цифровую программу подготовки
Thank you very much, and it would be interesting to know about the digital program of teachers training. And our session will be for 2 hours, and after all speakers have their say, it will be time for discussion, and we'll be able to discuss some interesting points. And I give floor over to a representative of Ethiopia, and the country is working consistently to promote Russian language, and there are a lot of joint projects that have been introduced together with Russian Federation and digital education in particular. It would be interesting to know what are those projects and how successful are they. And it'd be nice to hear interim results from the plenipotentiary minister of the Republic of Ethiopia to the Russian Federation, Shamel Mikuria-Kasila.
I am honored to represent Ethiopia at this international conference. Thank you for the region and the organizer to invite us. I am eager to share my nation journey toward this digital transformation of the education center. Ethiopia is a land of history and more than 120 million people. And in Ethiopia, the government try to give quality education for those citizens. And there are more than 50 government universities and more than hundreds private schools, private universities. And there are more than 25 million students in the school right now. And to give high quality education, the government to do his best by giving training and scholars for teachers and lecturers in the country as well as in the friendly countries abroad. And Ethiopia needs cooperation to do with BRICS countries and other friendly countries for uphold the quality education for citizens. Ethiopia starts to sign MOU, that is Memorandum of Understanding, with BRICS country universities and with high education sectors. For example, in this year, Ethiopian schools, high schools and universities sign agreements with Russian universities to give high quality education for its citizens. And as well for this digital transformation, the Ethiopian government has just one big telecommunication that is popular in East Africa. As well, the government opens these sectors to foreigners or foreign companies. For example, Safaricom entered to Ethiopia to give services for the citizens. And in this regard, the peoples, more than half of the peoples used mobile and internet. And the students can just Google and upgrade their own skills. And as well, the government tried to give high quality network for the citizen. And it is not that much enough for the country. And the government also opens the other just internet access or the other telecommunication to the country to give or to uphold the technologies. That means on the education sectors. And the Ethiopia also invited to higher educations or the universities to just cooperate with the Ethiopian universities to upgrade the education system. And the government started from last year to give the high school living examination online system. And this is just online. That means giving the digital transformation for all students. And this is all about Ethiopia. And thank you for your attention.
Спасибо большое. Спасибо большое за
Thank you
информацию.
very much
Действительно,
for sharing.
цифровизация
And
стремительно
yes,
развивается,
the
и
digitization
интернет-обмен
is
технологиями,
developing
но еще
rapidly, and
и
it's not
программами
only just
педагогической
information
подготовки
exchange, but also
и
the programs
преподавателей, педагогического
of
состава.
the
Ну и,
teachers training,
конечно, важно,
teachers
чтобы шла
exchange,
гармоничная
and
и
it is
быстрыми
important
темпами
that
интеграция и
the integration
обучающихся.
of
Республика
students
Бенин
is
выразила
going in rapid
заинтересованность
phase,
в
and
расширении
it's
сотрудничества с
harmonious.
Российской
Benin
Федерацией,
expressed interest in
подчеркнув
expanding
необходимость
cooperation with the
интеграции и
Russian
обмена
Federation,
опытом как раз в сфере
emphasizing the
цифровизации
integration and exchange of
образования. Об
experience
этом
in
заявила
education.
министр
This
высшего
is
образования
what
и
the High Education
научных
Minister and
исследований
Science
Бенина
of Benin said at the International Forum of the Ministers of Education in Kazan, and that was just 4 days ago. And today we can, at that high level, discuss how can this be implemented practically. So you, as a founder of the Association of Foreign Students, for a long time you are helping foreign students studying in Russian universities. For more than 10 years, you've been a reliable partner of UGRA, and it would be very interesting to learn your assessment of how this cooperation is going today and what is the outlook of development. So, Kachov, Anis, and Gabriel, please. Good day, dear colleagues. First of all, allow me, on behalf of all of us, on behalf of all the guests, welcome the participants of the international conference, and I would like to thank the organizers for a high level of training and for the possibility to speak today. I would like to say thank you to the government of UGRA for all these years of cooperation, and I would like to thank the universities for this tremendous work that we're doing jointly for many years. Dear friends, the international activity is one of the key activities of work of every higher educational establishment. It's been for 80 years now that the Soviet Union and Russia has been training specialists for other countries. And during these 80 years, more than 1.5 million highly qualified specialists have been trained, and the quality and the high level of authority of the Russian school and academia is well known across the world. For this reason, thousands of students from other countries travel to Russia in order to get a truly high-quality education. And as of now, the Russian universities in the Russian, more than 355,000 foreign students study in Russian universities. And you might ask me a question, is this a lot or not? According to the program Export of Education, by the year 2025, so it's next year, the number of foreign students in the universities of Russia shall be 500,000, 500,000. And throughout the years of cooperation with UGRA and with the region, more than 300 foreign students took part in the international events in the region. And that's the IT forum. That's the IT forum and the oil capital. So the two events which we held on the annual basis. So have a look now in the universities of UGRA. There are about 514 foreign students. They've all come from 20 countries of the world. And you might ask me a question again, is this a lot or not? And for now, I cannot answer. I don't have the answer. But 514 foreign students studying here in the region, this says it means that UGRA is an attractive region, and let's have a look what countries are present in the region. From Kazakhstan, for example, there are 116, Tajikistan 93, Uzbekistan 73, Kyrgyzstan 70, Azerbaijan 16, Ukraine 7, Belarus 3, Turkmenistan 1, Armenia 1, Moldavia 1, Georgia 1, Latvia 1, and 107 from India, Zambia 10, Egypt 5, Ghana 5, Philippines 2, Yemen 1, Afghanistan 1. So today, globally, the number of foreign students is 8 million. So 8 million young people who left their countries in order to get education in a different country. And the statistics show that by 2030, this number is going to be 9 million. 9 million young people. For comparison, today in the United States, there are about 1,200,000 foreign students. In Russia, as I said, for today is 350,000. And what countries are leading in export of education? Well, naturally, it's United States. It's 1,200,000. Now, United Kingdom, 500,000. China. And 20 years ago, China didn't know what a foreign student was. But today, about 600,000 foreign students are now in China, in Austria, Germany, etc. So why foreign students choose this country or another for training, and what influences their choice? Why they choose France or America, not Russia, or vice versa? Why do they choose Russia and not UK? Now, the first factor which defines the choice, that's the quality of education. The next is the cost, where it's more affordable, the language, then the legal framework of the country, social matters, is their stipend, is the medical insurance, how is this addressed, who pays for it, and employment during studying. Do foreign students have rights to work? Because the accommodation, what are the conditions for accommodation, the overall quality of life, whether they live in the individual rooms or in the room with other 6 students, safety, who guarantees safety and security of students in the region, in the country, and employment after graduation. It turns out that students, when they choose a country where they study and when they graduate, they can find employment, whether it is in the country they study or in a different country. So what are the main countries who supply students for the universities of the Russian Federation? Well, number one, out of 350,000 students, number one, you might guess, it's Kazakhstan. More than 50,000 students from Kazakhstan, they study in the universities of Russia. Number two is China. Yeah, their population is more than 1.5 billion, that's clear. Number three is Turkmenistan. Then Uzbekistan, about 20,000. Then Tajikistan, India, Ukraine, almost 15,000 students from Ukraine study in Russia, Kyrgyzstan, Egypt. And place number 10 is Belarus. As you might have noticed, out of 10 countries, we have only 3 countries that are China and Egypt, so not the former republics or CIS countries. So what does export of education give us?
As well as the authority, the friends that we gain here, and through training of the specialists for foreign countries, all the countries are earning about $400 billion. The export of education brings 400 billion, out of which the States is earning 45 billion, and Great Britain almost 35, and our Russia is going to be making 4 billion. Unfortunately, only so far. And with this, I am reminding you that the market of education gives $1.5 trillion, $1.5 trillion, and today 400 billion we are making. And the number of foreign students all over the world may be 97 million, 97 million, and today only 8 million. All these statistics, all these figures tell us that the potential of education for foreign students is huge, and we can aim for that. UGRA should be taking more students. Dear friends, I wanted to say that today the Russian higher education establishments, including the ones in Ukraine, gives a high quality education and broaden the opportunities for foreign students. I am talking to you here. I am the product of Russian education. Well, I'm quite a high quality product, ain't I? And is well in demand all over the world in the world market. The colleges of UGRA, universities of UGRA gives various support programs for the students, language courses, culture, events. Foreign students can join the universities, enter the universities through the quotas, and they can actually study for free and even get a grant. And there is an opportunity like that to people from Gambia, Ghana, Philippines, from Yemen, etc. Also, we have programs, short-term exchange programs between the universities. And recently, what has been started, a joint program with the Chinese universities. The guys will be studying in China, and they're gonna be learning in Khanty-Mansiysk and to get the education, and they get the diploma of two countries. And what is unique here is the unique program of the Surgut State University, for example, which is done fully in English, although I was always against training people in Russia in the English language. Why come to Russia to learning through the medium of English? But the market demands that, and we do that, and not study Russian, not learn Russian. That is a sin. And there's a bit too few Russian education establishments teaching in foreign languages. That's predominantly in Moscow, in St. Petersburg, but now in Surgut University, there are 107 students learning in English from India and 5 from Egypt. And annually, the demand is growing for this program. And they know the Chinese students, they want to learn medicine in Surgut. The level of the UGRA universities, they are capable of starting this program in other spheres, and I want to express my gratitude to the government of the Autonomous Congress for the building of dormitories, very comfortable, very contemporary, very modern. When I was studying in '96, I've been across all the cities and towns of the Russian Federation. I looked at the conditions where students live and what the education they get and how they're treated. And what I've seen in Yugra, in Surgut, in Nizhnevarskovsk, in Khanty-Mansiysk, and my other friends, I take my hat off. In Surgut, the same as in Khanty-Mansiysk, foreign students, they live two people in the room, in Gubkin, sometimes in one room, sometimes they live well. There is a number of students in one room. Yeah, it happens, but it's quite good. But the huge number of cultural and sports events in which our foreign students take active part, and that multicultural environment helps multifaceted development and adaptation of foreign students. But I think the most important thing is what sets UGRA apart is the Siberian hospitality and friendliness. This is a unique Siberian thing. Come and study in UGRA. Thank you very much for this talk and for the figures giving the clear interest of students from various countries. And thank you to your teacher of Russian as foreign language for such wonderful command of Russian, the best command of Russian, and for this wonderful and sunny promotion of UGRA. And you pointed out quite correctly the students choose, they make a choice for one country, the course, the quality of education, but also the unique methods which we will be talking about. And now I invite to join our discussion the Deputy Minister of Digital Development, Mass Communication of the Russian Federation. We're going to be talking about the prospects of the Russian development of the policy in sphere of big data. Some time ago, some number of months ago, in one of your interviews, you said that our country now is in the middle of a sprinter's run. If we are talking about our development towards digitization, and in the interview, at what point are we now, and what are our plans for the future? We're in the middle of the marathon run with a sprinter speed, and this is what we carry on like that. And the corrections are introduced by life, and there are new system strategic documents. And I'm talking the 309 decree from the presidents, and the new aims here, new goals set. We started working on national projects, the economy of data, digital transformation, which is now the digital economy being replaced by that. For us, it's an important stage. We need to get the block here that would provide for the our development for the next 6 years, and the work is going on now ongoing. The key events are being put in. They have not been revived yet. They have not been defended yet, but they will be. They will go through. We're quite sure, because we understand the importance to do with the digitization of education. And so I wanted to say that quickly, to talk about them and tell you what we see now is the key directions within the nationwide program in education. And there are 2 or 3 big streams here. Is development of social infrastructure, and that is to do with the safe internet in schools, and that is in an ongoing project. The schools are connected, and now we have to provide a high quality of services of communication, safe communication through the unified network of data exchange that schools are. So that's quite a big stream. And the social infrastructure development also we have is a separate project on access of the internet in the classroom. And we have 16 regions, and we got the equipment for the schools. And there's internet from particular rooms. And the third one here is mobile devices for teachers. And we're talking tablets, of course, and the tablets should be not just domestic operating system, domestically made tablets, that would be devices making available all the services necessary for teachers. So this is communication services, chats that they could open up during the lessons or outside the lessons, or maybe extracurricular activities. So then it is access to journals, digital content, digital assistance to the teacher. And so this is the basic stream. And second one is development of digital platform in GIS My School, which there is a 1241 decree from the government that most of educational establishment and more than 60% of educational employees are registered there. This is the platform, digital services for all the participants of the educational process, the children, the parents, the teachers, the faculty. So here, what we can see, how do we develop, how do we work, what are we planning to do here? In GIS My School, that is a medium system in that it's at the same time it interacts with the front-end system, with this state services portal, and the other one is the regional state information system in the general education. So GIS that all the regions have established and carry on building now. On GIS My School provides the interaction within all of this ecosystem. What plans do we have? That front end, GIS My Schools, that is in the unified portal of state services, they will contain the digital portfolio, and it will be started this year. We hope the front end will contain the new mobile app, My School. That will be the functionality of the unified plan, not only the school, not only curricular activities, but also extracurriculars, probably high-frequency services that parents and children know standards like the marks, the presence marking, the homework, etc. And various services of interactive, for example, parents and a teacher, for example, checking the homework and various certificates and etc. So that is not going to be working without the correct work with the regional state information system. So we're going to be carrying on with this on the standards of quality of work of regional systems. It's not only and not just the systems of matching the cyber safety, cyber security, but also the functional requirements of regional systems. What services in particular, what functionality should they include that they would match the need in digitization? One of the requirements will be for the regional solutions. They have to give the turnkey connections for the needs of the region in terms of education, and these regional solutions, they will contain services for the schools and from the preschool education and further education for colleges. So in order to facilitate this interaction, we use like the shop window of data, and with the Ministry of Education, together with them, we are running the joint model of data representation for this shop window, for the federal services to work for the digital portfolio, regardless of the region. So if the child moves from region to region, the digital portfolio will be built with the use of this unified model. And so this is the second big stream, and this is what I wanted to talk about. There is a third stream to do with the transition from general education to higher education. And here, what we are planning is a kind of seamless trajectory for the person studying, graduating from school, and then we'll be able to choose a higher education establishment to assess the chances of joining the education and the trajectory, and after joining it, the establishment of digital documents providing the services of the students. So this would be the unified trajectory built from the landscape of certain digital systems and digital platforms, regional systems, federal system of the GIS My School, and the federal platform in the sphere of higher education establishment that will give us the services not only for those joining university, enrolling, but also for the students. So colleagues, I think I'll probably end at this. If you have questions, I will answer them, but not taking too much time. I just wanted to show our key priorities and directions for the development. At the point where we are at. Thank you very much. A round of applause for you. So don't leave us. There are questions. There is a question. Yeah, thank you. Really, we're talking about the implementation of advanced technologies and the timeline, how fast it's going to happen. But there is a chance that everything depends on the human factor and how fast and how clear how they could use now. There will be digital old believers of Luddites amongst parents, amongst children who are not ready, they don't want to, they don't know how, and then they just don't want to do that. And so what is the numbers of these old believers and how that is quite difficult for me to. It is quite an active people who are fighting, making a stand for their position. So there is nothing dramatic here in terms of we are not making anybody. That is our principal stand. So if they want to use the paper, they don't want to look at the digital contact, that is up to you. That's the first thing. And second is the establishing trust. What is trust? Is the combination of fulfilled expectations. If they're expecting it will be easy and safe, so there will be no cyber attacks, and then the system will be established. And of course, in this sense, we think that gradually the number of this, as you tell them, old believers, you call them, well, the number will be reduced, and I think that most of them probably will be interacting using digital platforms. There is nothing new here. Everybody understands. Sometimes, you remember when we went to banks with, and now is the remote banking. We went to bank and we signed the papers and. So here, I think the situation is very, very similar, but we need to build this trust. Thank you very much for the answers, for joining us this early in the morning to our plenary meeting. The key word is here is the trust. The technologies are technologies, but the end user, what's very important, the end user of technology, how it will be implemented in life, and that there will be a safe, secure space for him, for his family, and for the further promotion of a particular goal, professional, educational, and about these technologies and methodologies, modern, contemporary. We're going to be talking about Oleg Yurievich Kachanov. Thank you. He was directly connection here. Now I just want to address the certified platform in the sphere of military and patriotic education. At the moment, it doesn't exist, but the centers representatives are here. The center avant-garde, as many people would join. So, Daria, could you tell us about the unique advantages of your project? Well, thank you very much for this warm reception. I think that everybody gathered here in this room, they can they could notice this friendly atmosphere that is that the rules here, it reigns here. I'm not going to waste our joint time. Behind me, you can see there is the video that demonstrates just the day-to-day school leavers, high school students in the center avant-garde, Moscow Park Patriot, as Moscow and Moscow region students. It hasn't happened like that before. There was a pandemic, a coronavirus pandemic, that didn't let us to interact personally, and it seemed then without a physical interaction, it would be impossible. There was no way out. So we started working, and this is the platform that you can see on the screen. This is first in the world platform on military and patriotic education. It's also about education and upbringing. Components are there, and all the components are in this format that makes it possible to correctly assimilate the material. These are the lections and presentations, video lessons, and of course, there are tests and the summary test that makes it possible to assess the level and quality of education that the child managed in the 35 online hours. So half a year we've existed like that. More than 21,000 in the first half a year of the pandemic, and that's how many students. So we started modernizing it, and we got to the point that we started taking offline students. The picture that you see on the screen, this is our digital assistant, Android. At every game model, every educational program, this is called ERA, artificial mind of avant-garde. So ERA, that is quite a lovely. This is a CRM. This is big data with a lovely female name that has knows everything about the study process, and it is in this online program. ERA knows everything, all the timetables, not only the studies, but all the life of the center. The children, they don't go home for 5 full or not 6 not full days. They don't have any gadgets, so they don't have any devices. So ERA is the only. So she's the only connection to the digital world. The digital old believers, that made me laugh. It's such a wonderful notion. And these children with digital technologies in the format of daily interactions with the military training, and also after the coronavirus limitations have been lifted, the digital program stays in our. I also want to talk openly that nothing will replace the eye to eye with the teacher, especially when we're talking about if we want to teach a particular skills and abilities. And I think it is very, very clearly visible from this video that you are watching now. The principle is like it's best to give something than to give nothing, and there's got to be certain knowledge that has to be mastered. Online platform is in our life, is part of our life, so we're now quite canny in our activities. And 15-hour theoretical course, which according to logic we have to be doing at the table in the school class. That could be quite boring for the students. We're more practice-oriented organization. We take it out of the bracket and beyond the physical visitation to the center avant-garde, and this unique login and password. The school child might be able to get through this theoretical course, and here we kill a number of birds with one stone. We get more learning hours and study hours, and the child has a notion of where they're coming. They're not looking for a swimming pool. They're not looking when we're gonna be having fun. Yeah, we are gonna be having fun, but in a certain format. So this platform, with the passage of time, is developing. There is more courses are added to these modules, and a couple of months ago, there's extended course on drones, on pilotless drones, and a course on tactical medicine. That is the current situation demands that in our country and in the world. And what I wanted to point out here as well, we lived and in Moscow and Moscow region, and interacting with international partners. And here I just wanted to talk a little bit more about, because talking to my guest, I had an idea that in UGRA, we actually could be quite organic and do the initial military training for foreign students. And I think that will be quite in demand, I think, because it is quite a lot of demand in the international market for the Russian product of initial basic military training. This is the interaction with our Arabic colleagues, Arab colleagues. There is the full technology, Russian technology for the Emirates, Abu Dhabi, and by 2025 it will be open. It will open its doors for Arab. So there will be its own national religious component. There will be separate men and women. It will be for everyone. That would fully be natively working on the methodological and game models developed in the Russian Federation by the avant-garde employees, and that is quite an achievement for us. And the Forum Russia-Africa last year, there is a requirement from African colleagues on the implementation of these methods in their countries. In case, again, the demand varies. It's maybe children in some countries and grown-ups in other countries. And for the young people, patriotism is military. Well, we're not talking about militarization. It is a patriotic component that is important for everyone. And this thesis, they stress yet again the key thesis that I'm talking about. And of course, I wouldn't want. I would like very much to help develop this direction, not only in Moscow and Moscow region, but all over Russia. From 2020, the Avant-Garde Center, from its existence, I just wanted to lose being unique. I just wanted to be one of many, one of thousands of centers that work in the Russian Federation, and with UGRA, we work very actively. And first of all, with educational platforms on digitization for this process to make it available for school children, students, college students, university students, because from last year, the initial military training outside of the military departments has become necessary for all boys and girls of the first year students in the universities. All people present here, they know very well that from the new year there is the updated safety basics of safety and protection of motherland. There will be a number of hours and initially military training. So here we can and want to manifest here to train adults, grown-ups that will be working in this system, and without our partners in a practical company that helping develop our platform, integrated in our big resource in Algiers, and thanks to that, we can, with colleagues with UGRA together, we can do this new breakthrough in the initially military training for adults and the children and students and teachers. Thank you very much for your attention. If there are any questions, it is with pleasure that I will be taking them. Thank you very much. This is during the discussion, there is certain ideas that happen that may be implemented in this forum on the paper. The main parameters could be keyed in, and when you were talking about how actively it was received by our guests, so we do. If you do have questions, get them ready. And Elena Vitalyevna, I just wanted to ask you for the assessment of this idea. Well, this really, it is this idea with a great future. And now in Khanty-Mansiysk, next to Khanty-Mansiysk is a big base, is a big complex aimed at the patriotic training and military patriotic training. And this infrastructure is a federal level infrastructure. So we've got the Russian youth support of the ministry, and for this to work for the residents of the okrug and the other regions of the country. There is demand, there is infrastructure for people to live, and there is a demand is to grow competencies in Khanty-Mansiysk and Surgut as a student centers of our okrug. It is there, so all the components of the puzzle is complete. Yeah, question. I just thought that this suggestion may be very interesting for foreign students. I was in Kazan at the forum of ministers of education, and your company was there. I've seen at the exhibition what you demonstrated, and foreign students, while they live here, while they study here, they should be using all the capacities that Russian Federation offers. They are fully fledged students, the same as Russian students, and I hope that consulates and embassies will support this, and that foreign students will be partaking this. One more successful project that we are going to be discussing today, that's Spherum, the educational program that will replace Western social media and to remove the chats that we have in our phones. The Ministry of Education this, offers this for the communication between parents, children, and teachers, all the schools, and Spherum is used by all the schools here. Ruben Akopov, the head of communication platform Spherum. Ruben, the stage is yours. Well, hello, yeah, you can hear me. Unfortunately, I have no clicker, so the AI, yeah, there is a clicker. Day without the AI today. From the point of view of clicking the presentation, and in the past year, yeah, I've learned to do that. In the previous year, we've gone through quite a serious way, quite a way through, a way forward. People hear about Spherum all the time. Some people work in Ukraine. It's one of the key tools used in the regional state information system, and what Andrei and Oleg, what Andrei Valerievich and Oleg Yurievich were talking about on federal, my school, the federal project, were one of the components of my school. On communication, we started with video. 2020 pandemic, the calls, lessons, PTA meetings, and the following 2 years, that's transforming all the written communication from well-known, regular used Western systems. I'm not going to be mentioning them. Everybody looking at the phone, probably 50% of people looking at their phone, they're in those chat systems. But what our state is all the communication, education communication, transitioning it, strategic communications in the Russian into Russian apps. And this is complex process. And in 2023-24 academic year, we've achieved quite serious achievements, and it was about 10 million. Now it's 25 million of users. And that is May, about 5-6 regularly use the system for the scenarios for the use of communications, which I mentioned. If we talk on growth, it's 5 times we grew. In terms of calls, that is the users, we've grown in terms of calls, we've become a serious helper. As soon as it is called, the number of calls is on the up. So, and we can see the graph that shows the dynamic that we provided. We as a tool, you as users, regular users, Here we see the information on how they actively they wrote and they read and they rang, and 2023, the new year, the frosts. There was quite a lot of calls in January, February, end of December, and the activity of use is not falling too much, and the average quite in the spring months and summer months it is still being used. And now the first stage that we went through that was just a basic connection and provide the workability and good working order and train people. And now we are helping the teachers transitioning. That is very complex job. Everybody has foreign systems that they're used to. You know, the Boeing and Airbus that we are flying now. But you understand that at some point these technologies will not be available, or they will be too controlled, too independent from us, and that is not in our interest, not in the interest of our education system. So the activity of our teachers in Russia is well advanced, gone well ahead compared to last year. We've got a lot to work on with other regions, and for there, UGRA is going to be one of the long-term examples how it should be done, how it should be implemented. On the indicators, the new academic year will become when we will be involving more actively the joint projects, community projects, for example, the journal of the marks. We will be involving the students and parents, and for us, the key partner, the main partner is, of course, the electronic journal, which has been integrated with the regional information system of UGRA. The manager left the room, and I wanted to thank them, the management of the educational system of UGRA and all the teachers. If we look at the monitoring that we can see on the screen, the region is at leading positions. We don't have the goal to be the first, the best. We need to use Spherum in these educational communications. And if we want to be more concrete here, we always show the experience of the best of the leaders, the municipalities, of the implementation always starts from the head. The municipal coordinators, they showed us that they can be examples, that they work really well. And after them, there are educational establishments, organizations, and since the time is limited, you can see them on the slide, and the presentation is available. Chats that the organizers have organized in Spherum. You can look at this information. By the new academic year, we're preparing these updates, and we hope that they will be in demand by the teachers and administrations and students. And the first is the capacity, the more making it more user-friendly for the teacher. The teacher verification, the teacher of the adult who can interact with children. We are trying to maximally make it secure, safe, to avoid the non-educational or dangerous content. Everybody could say that you get certain mail shots to do with illegal activities. You have also that, but also there's opportunities to improve to reduce the paperwork load on the teachers. It's certain simple things that we, for example, the teacher is available at certain times, and then the parents, you can write parents and teachers, for example, at 11 o'clock, no, there will be next day. The answer will be next day so that the teacher could separate the personal life and the work life, educational life. In terms of security and safety, we carry on working. The ISIA system that probably it is the penetration is growing as a key source of authorization. Here we can see a number of positive signs for ourselves and the people being trained. The verification, the Ivanov Ivan Ivanovich authorized through the state service portal. He will be thinking a million of times before he starts doing something not has nothing to do with the educational process. So we've been asked in across Yugra, there will be the people low income, large families here. We sorted out. There is a record of students with a parent, and then ISIA makes it possible to authorize many kids not using a mobile phone or SIM cards. We work with journals, with students' markings, diaries, and then when they write, when there is a mark on A or an F, then if we want to tell it to the parents, we don't have to go to Sphero. There is the interface in the journal here, and then the parents get it from there directly. On statistics here, we can give their further opportunities. For example, this year there is a solution, non-material, material, tangible stimulation awards, and then awards this the playful mode is well in demand by teachers of different ages, and they've seen this modality, and we will be made broader is this to praise the best and to award them and for the parents and teachers to have thank you, to say thank you, the opportunity to say thank you if somebody does something. So it's not a monetary stimulus, it's not a mark, it's not good marks, it's a different kind of support. So if people use certain calls, then for example, the classroom with parents of a class, sometimes the cultures are different. Sometimes they forget to turn off the microphone. Sometimes they do something wrong with the camera. There will be the ability for the teacher not to waste too much time for simple infrastructural things, just to teach and to interact with parents so they could do it easier. And out of the other opportunities here, there is this Forum assistance. There's a chatbot trained to answer questions. If it's quickly, if it can't, then it passes it on to the technical support where people answer questions, users questions. In the nearest, probably that would be chatbot of Rosoboronadzor. So people don't know what it is. It's Russian Educational Monitoring, Russian Educational Control Ministry, and one part has been announced by Russian Education Monitoring Authority, the Russian Education Watchdog. So there will be the automated answer. There will be responsible regionals to follow up on the quality on the answer, and then from Russian Educational Watchdog, we will be monitoring the interesting projects. What's at the federal level? The startup of Pushkin card, regional events in many regions in Yugra included, and the whole set of options that will be showing an example how the chatbot and mini apps and artificial intelligence could be used in education. And the channels, I'm not going to be talking too much. This you can use that, and the example is here is the channel of Ministry of Education, 1.6 million that is teaching together or learning together, and your colleagues are not limited, and if you work with an audience and then so teaching together, come and talk to us, we'll help you. And in summary, I just wanted to point out that we, with UGRA, as I said, UGRA is helping us as an example for other regions. There are very important steps we make in other regions. So the plan, the transition of communication, top down, and then between the parts, training, a very important element, further training, the verification, the exchange experience, statistic analysis, the working with the journal, joint work with the journal, safety and security, to establish the classroom chats with parents and students and teachers chats. And very important here is praising the best, exchange of experience. And here I showed already your best representatives, and I want to thank them yet again, that in your educational organization, your municipalities, using statistics, you will be talking about the best and the brightest and the use of their experience. About the directives, I probably will not be talking. The academic year is over, and now there are the tests and exams and the break time. And if we talk about the new academic year, then we can start preparing for that. Work in a calm atmosphere with parents. That is children's camps. If we didn't use this tool, this is the QR code. Children come and parents come and they scan the QR code. And there is the updates of children achieved, what's happening today, what's happening today. Tomorrow is quite a good preparation for August, and in August, of course, everything that we did, we'll show you, we'll tell you, and in the seminars, webinars, the system of training and retraining, we will be repeating all of that and telling about that to new teachers, and we naturally will be working with parents so that for you it's easier to use, to introduce Spherum as this offered by state solutions that works within the regional system, within GIS My School. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. One clarification here. You said that you're doing security and to protect from the spread of harmful information. Western communicators, they are the source of leak of the personal information. How do you provide for the security of personal data? Well, first is VK as the platform creator, and the company is supporting this platform. Within GIS is Russian company using Russian solutions. The people work in the Russian Federation. Servers, all the informations are inside Russian Federation, and we comply with all the laws, with all the certification, with all the provision of data security we have. And I also specifically pointed out, if there is a teacher or parent, they see a problem with the security violations, so we're very lively and quickly react to these requests, broadening the communication within the school. Is much faster. They will be much more conservative than what is happening with our foreign partners. The communication is necessary. It is that is a given. But we do everything for the secure and safe communication between children and teachers and parents. And thank you very much. And friends, we are going to video space, and now it is Maxim Borzov, the advisor on information technology, the movement of the first. Maxim Alexandrovich, hello. Dear colleagues, I'm glad to greet you here, and I'm not very happy that I'm online. It is very friendly, I feel the atmosphere from the first minutes of the beginning of the discussion. Thank you very much to all of the participants. So this is the movement of the first. Just a couple of words of the organization itself. The organization is quite young, and second half of 2022 it emerged, and we have quite good results already. There are certain observations and experience that we managed to attain. And the actual movement is not in a classical understanding an educational organization, but the movement implements hundreds of unique programs of upbringing and personal development and forming active, responsible youth community where the traditions are respected, cultural values, historical heritage. And those participants who touch our projects, who get involved in our projects, they should start feeling certain values. On top of everything is family, and here are the digital products. In all of them we use the experimental format. We didn't build the unified system where we could place all the programs and activities, because there's quite a lot of them. And the age is quite spread. A child aged at 7 and 14 are totally different people who interact differently with the digital products. Moreover, we work quite a lot with more adult, like 17, 18, 25. There's tutors, there's mentors, and this is all aimed at children implementing the programs. For example, military, patriotic, upbringing, cultural values, historical values. We are trying to adapt the digital part of these programs for the goals and tasks and the age of the audience. For example, Zornitsa 2.0, this is its own service, its own interface, unified system of authorization, but the mechanics of the team building, gamification, and the scoring is within a separate product, implemented so as makes it possible to not defocus from the key product on the main product. This also, there is a product that is a support. This support for grants. The movement that gives grants to the primary units, the educational establishments, those who encounter that, regardless of digitalization, and big work on simplification of getting them. People who are doing it for the first time, they encounter difficulties. So we came up with a separate program product, which makes it possible to digitize the pre-accelerator for grants. When you come with your own submission, you go through the expert selection, you get a recommendation, you can increase the chances in the real grant competition. The contest will happen later. There are other directions where little services are created by us, and for us, what is important that we adhere to certain principles. That is exclusion of multiple registration and authorization, because we must have build digital barriers. If you talk about the digital ecosystem, the process of transition between all of ours, and not just ours, services as seamless as possible, and then we let the users to focus on the sphere, the direction, the product that they interact with predominantly, and on the way out, we connect it up to the pool of data, making it possible to analyze the user's experience and improve our products, improve our projects, and technological characteristics of the services that we start. And it's been said before, some colleagues, they shared the experience of integration, and I wanted to say that we're not those people who are trying to reinvent the wheel. Here, There's got to be a grain of sanity, and if we talk about the services existing, then they have to be connected to the ecosystem being formed, of course. And Spherum, dear colleagues who were talking before me, is a positive experience. We don't try to build the chat and communication into all the projects. We add only where it is needed. For example, at the VDNH, at the international, this is the pavilion number one, is pavilion of the first. So it's a group of participants. We can form these groups from all over the country. We integrated with Sberbank technology that helps us visualize and implement child dreams and local groups. They have to be on call, preparing for the trip or during the trip. So we connect Serum, quite high tech. The necessary groups are created and they're added there. That in a safe space they can talk to each other. And of course, for them, there is always a grown-up curator establishing the safe zones for the communication for children. This is a very important issue. This is a separate issue. And of course, developing IT service, we have to remember it with not building to possible precedents that make it easier for the access to wrong content and wrong communication, shall we say, with the new generation. And new local trends, new trends is the GIS My School integration should be done by the end of this year, and the integration of the service here. That's going to happen by the end of the year or in the beginning of the next, and then all the participants of this movement through the unified portfolio in the electronic journal. There will be a mark that they've joined. This is more than 7 million registered participants already that touched our services, tried and using more than 2 million active participants. They've joined the movement and they are the first. And we're using also with care the IAI technologies in the data analysis. So this is the data lake, data pool that where AI will be difficult, and the AI technologies are in the chatbot that operatively tries to answer the users' questions, and we build it into all the channels of communication that we have. This is social networks and bots and messengers and channels. So now we're going to be building it into building a voice support line. So we're trying to be careful, but we don't want to kind of provide this annoying robot. When you want to get to the human being, and it's really difficult, we don't want that. We want to sort of, if the answer will not be precise of the bots, then the participant has to get to the operator. This is a seamless operator, and our care employee, support employees joins our person. But very often the questions are very banal. And I don't know the project such and such. I want to participate, and what would be the events on ecology? Summer and the break, where can I plant trees? So that is where the bot helps. And now we're working on the use of artificial intelligence technologies as a recommendation system. And I want to stress the importance in terms of the AI, that the AI technology is, they have to be domestic, Russian, and in the nearest few days it probably supports this idea, the news, and for this year, for the nearest years, the development of international projects of establishing services that make it possible for the movement and the friends of the movement outside of Russia to take part in various initiatives. And it is a great pleasure to talk about it in such wonderful companies. I try not to make too much of your time. I wanted to leave some time for questions and answers. Good morning, coffee, Maxim Barzov, the movement of the first, and we don't have that much time. So and there's next few questions. If you have questions to Maxim, please, of course, you can pass them on using these contemporary technologies that we're talking. So please give a round of applause to Elena Shumakova for the participation in our plenary meeting, because Elena Vitalyevna has to leave to the governmental commission, deputy governor of the Khanty-Mansiysk Autonomous Okrug. Maybe you say something in summary. I want to thank, first of all the participants, our guests, not just the interesting talk, but very constructive suggestions that would be of great use to Russia and Ukraine, our partners all over the world, and all the projects that have been suggested today. We will carry on the dialogue with the teacher community in August in traditional meetings for the preparation of the new for the new academic year. And our guests from our different regions, different countries. Ukraine is the key oil-bearing region where we work in the field and extract a lot of useful resources for the country. And we are the field, we are the source of innovation for Russia and for the world, and we'll continue doing everything that the state is to confirm it year in, year out, with your joint participation and in partnership. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Now we have just 10 minutes and we have three key questions, very important questions. And now the head of the project of the assessment of AI and the maturity of bodies of authority, Piotr Leonidovich Ototsky. What are the risks? What are the digital hygiene rules? Colleagues, good morning. And the key points here is the technologies of general use, internet or electricity. And so this is not a story of the innovation, one-off innovation, but change of fundamental balances in the society. In the present economy, we're doing this interdisciplinary research, like technologies of AI, how they would impact the economy, the governance, the education. There will be transition period while technologies are permeating our life. There will be a side effect here. Maybe is actually indirect effect, maybe more than direct effect. The same as electricity. After there was radio communication, refrigerators, the products that we can't even imagine, couldn't even imagine before the electricity. And now the training of both the developers and the users of AI is the key factor for success. The relevant expectations should be formed and understand where AI is useful and where traditional, simpler tools could be used. And that is very important for the officials, for people working in large companies, the managers who impact on lives of many people. And I want to thank the organizers of the IT Forum and the Ukraine administration for a very important event. This is a huge factory of trust at the international level. And just a couple of words more. Here we see two currents. From the one side, AI for the education, digital institutes, and from the other, it is the education for artificial intelligence, because there are new trades, new competencies, new skills, and existing trades they transform with the impact of this technology. So the system of education should be adapting and should be stimulating the implementation of these technologies. And as far as the artificial intelligence and digitalization, this is the tailor-made mass digitalization. This is integration at macro. This is the personal trajectory of education, of personal trainer, personal teacher, digital assistant, digital helper. It's inside the task, helps the learner to motivate, to resolve the task. So we're piloting this digital resource And the digital teacher cannot replace the human teacher because we are learning from our teachers. Not only we don't only get the knowledge or disciplines, we also pick up on the personality, the culture of thinking, moral principles, and all of this that's not written in books. And in this sense, we are searching for balance between digital teachers and teachers, human teachers. Very interesting subject. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you, thank you. That is very quickly, point by point. That's so wonderfully quickly you introduced it. Thank you. We are now in the space of artificial intelligence. We're talking about security, so we should be talking about ethics. And we have here a senior tutor of High School of Economics on ethics of artificial intelligence in education, Anastasia Ugleva, and you lead the Committee on Ethics of Artificial Intelligence. So how does it get into the system? How is it regulated? Thank you very much for the questions, colleagues. Good morning, evening, day, I don't know. There's so many events, and we're just in the endless event. We're kind of coexisting here for example. I wanted to thank the participants. You're moderating really well. It's so comfortable and there is no stress. But at the same time, I wanted to draw your attention to the situation that unfortunately all the diversity of digital things are implemented into different practices in high school, in secondary education, and even the primary education from preschool even. And there's quite a lot of negative aspects that have to be addressed. And for example, we need to read much scientific research to do with the very obvious impact on cognitive abilities of a human being, slowing down of these cognitive abilities, reduction of quality of these cognitive abilities. Also, we're talking about the active implementation and thought is the implementation of AI. Education doesn't take into account the nature of a human being, doesn't take into account the morphology of body even changes, not only cognitive ability, even the morphology of body changes. And so there are real risks for the psychological and physical health of our children. And in this connection, ignoring this fact leads to all this multitude, all this diversity of platforms and products that beyond any doubt, from the point of view of organization of educational process, they're very positive, but not taking into account the other side of the question leads to the situation when we can lose the whole generation of potentially effective people who could help with their activities, the implementation of those attainment of those goals that our country faces. Also, I want to draw your attention to the fact that today we're working with gaps in communication. On the one hand, the communication abilities on digital platforms, they're broadening, and on the other hand, often we deal with the artificial intelligence, which is much more empathic than a human being. The human being will be annoyed, the teacher will be annoyed, the tutor will be annoyed, the parent will be annoyed, we're all people. The artificial intelligence never gets annoyed. And in this sense, it may actually generate more trust, which leads to the dependency. The people grow dependent on AI tutor. Not only students or a school kid, or even the teacher comes to for quick solutions, and that is no worse than being dependent, being on alcohol or drugs even. So there's this moral screening is very, very important when we pass on to many functions to artificial intelligence from humans. Certain critically important routine functions, we are unlearning how to do that. We lose the skill. And that tells us that the system, the approach to educational practices the educational paradigm has changed because quite recently, that humanitarian disciplines in school and in higher education, for instance, philosophy, which, as you well know, is read at all the education profiles according to the law. And now these disciplines, they gave us soft skills, so-called soft skills, and we need to teach hard skills, practical skills that specialists in certain industry become irreplaceable. And now we can see that humanitarian component is being washed out of the educational process. And we can tell you that in many higher educational countries, the philosophy, the logic is a discipline which is being, so the hard skills we have and soft skills we don't. And this is provoking the crisis, which may lead to the situation when people are more atomized. And we want to resolve this issue with the artificial intelligence because the communication is broad, but again, people are getting more and more remote from each other. Atomization of the society, invalidization of society, and we should not be shutting our eyes to this fact. We're talking exclusively positive effects, not negative, but a lot depends on what things will be, how things will be implemented, how well controlled there will be. The principle, it should be human centric. It should be focused on the human, and we should be giving more attention to human. Everything should be pivoted around the human. And in politics, we all more and more of these technologies, there's got to be not human centric. They should be neutral to the needs of human being, and that is passionless. And this may bear quite negative consequences today, regardless of the fact of all the activities with the development of various ethic codes and practical recommendations. The implementation of certain digital solutions, they do not adhere to these codes. In 2021, there was a national code of ethics in AI. There was a committee built at a national level. There are subcommittees there that develop the recommendations, certain recommendations on the implementation and adherence to this code in some industries like medicine, education, autopiloted transport, etc. So I want to repeat again, I want to reiterate, when we come to schools in practice, amongst those who signed this code, there are not that many of those who are actually following those principles, and we want this work to be noticed, not just noticed, we want it to be used by our well-respected authorities, specifically when they implement certain products in the education. The problem that you've pointed out, it is more than alarming, but I wanted to hear the possible ways of resolution of these issues. But on stage, we don't have time. So all the dealing with this issue, please, after the plenary meeting, we must never forget this issue and review how we can help resolve these issues before they become mass problems. So we talked about not a number of times. UGRA is the leading regions in digital technologies, in education, advanced technologies, in pedagogics, and I wanted to announce that on the 4th of July there will be a physical and technical Olympics. International in September, there will be 3D modeling championship here in Khanty-Mansiysk. In the era of development of digital technologies, engineering education is developing, and it's not a secret that technologies are technologies, but tutors is the mentoring is a very good way of passing on knowledge. And Roman Bondarenko, the president of the association, implementation of 3D modeling innovation and about the impending championship. So ending the plenary discussion is always hard, And I wanted quickly to give you the answers. First of all, I want to thank the region, as it was said a number of times. This soulful reception, this just the soul, and the team of system of education have built such a wonderfully interconnected work. We've been working with the region the last 2 years in more closely, how clearly, how well they pick the projects. All in you in the region. They want to leave it in the region and to land it on their specifics, their own specifics, which makes it possible for the system of education to grow. Here there are colleagues from Surgut, and I want to thank the colleagues from Surgut and this thesis, the digital old believers. Is there a single old digital old believer in the room? Please raise your hands. Great. Do you know, I was walking about the forum, and I wanted to become an old believer, digital. My documents. There is this stuff here. It's just a little of an aside. My documents. They have this service, probably not available for everyone, but in 2 minutes you can get all the information on a human being, of people. The cybersecurity, the security in artificial intelligence, make it safer somehow. Privacy, the right for the safety in personal life. And tomorrow we will be paying money for our personal data and not to be in the internet to make it safer. And we can't get away from digitization. And looking to my talk, we are implementing 3D technologies in education. And there is quite a large block there that digitization. When we digitize subjects, when there are 3D models, and there is quite a lot of online databases. So just a second, you get a 3D model of any object. You can actually order it, and you can order it somewhere. You can have it printed out on a 3D printer and delivered it to your home. And for more than 10 years, we've been training future engineers, startups in this who would probably be able to develop this industry. Not even tomorrow, even today, the 3D technologies, they are so much in our life. It's food industry, medicine, the engine building, aircraft building. We work with schools, and they could build 3D models, and children, all the students and school children, and we work with them so that they could actually work the life cycle of a certain product in the digital. But when we talk about mentoring, the mentor could be not only a teacher, not necessarily a grown up. A student could be a mentor for another student. And 7 years ago, there was an event that we held where there was a competition as a team. There's one student and college student and two school students, and then a student is a mentor. He passes on the knowledge to the school kids, and there is a system. Then when within the competition, we give them a task from a company, and an expert from this company is curating, preparing for the final task, and then the company is training specialists. School kids, they get the atmosphere of the future university, and whether they need it or not, the university is preparing very good future students. So there is this uninterrupted vector of selection of specialists who will come to the company, going through all the stages. And Khanty-Mansiysk for 7 years have been collaborating with us, and in the nearest years is at the top of the leading positions it's been taking. The region's is invited the entire country here. In the end of September, there will be 3D technology in the mentoring format, Russian-wide. We invite all the colleagues from the friendly countries to join us to get this experience. The tasks will be picked from the companies, regional companies. The format will be adapted to the specific of the region. It will be oil and gas, and kids will be doing the cases set by the regional industry. So we will be happy to see you at the event. And I'll stop at this because we are well over
Спасибо
the
большое.
allocated time.
Всех
Thank you very
участников
much.
пленарного
I'm
заседания
thanking all the
благодарю за
participants of
вашу
plenary meeting
работу, за ваше
for your
время,
work, for your
внимание.
time, for your
Бурными
attention.
аплодисментами наших зрителей.
Give them great
И в то
round
же
of
время
applause.
эти
And at the same
аплодисменты
time,
хочу
I
направить
want
каждому, кто
to
находится в зале, потому
um,
что каждый из
direct
нас делает
this
вклад в общее дело
applause to
улучшения
everyone
качества и
in the
комфорта
room.
жизни
Every
в
one
нашей
of us
стране, и в том
makes a
числе
contribution
цифровизация
in
образования.
education
Продолжение
and
этой темы
digitization of
чудачества в
education. We're
Музее
gonna
природы.
continue
Приходите.
this in the
А
Museum
пока
of
задавайте
Fun
вопросы
and
нашим
Nature.
участникам уже в кулуарах
And now
и
you can
активной и
ask a
плодотворной
question
работы
outside this
марафона.
room. So
Хорошего дня.
wishing you fruitful and active work at the forum. Thank you.
Спасибо.
Thank you.